good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster! Everybody's a suspect! Hey, Ted, where the hell's Corkscrew? Don't fuck with the Chuck!
Welcome back to Toe Tag Reviews. I'm Chuck, and today we're going to talk about 2022's Barbarian, directed by Zach Cregger. I don't really know too much about Zach Cregger besides Miss March.
Stupid firemen can't turn their trucks around.
We have Georgina Campbell as Tess. We have Pennywise himself, Bill Skarsgård as Keith. We have Justin Long as AJ, and Richard Brake as Frank. Now, with all that being said, on to the film! The movie begins with Tess showing up to an Airbnb she had booked. Come to find out, it was double booked, and here's where Keith comes into play. He's staying there also. He invites her in because it's the middle of the night, it's storming, it's a very bad neighborhood, it's all run down, boarded up windows, everything's just garbage. He's nice and sweet to her, tells her she can take the bed, he'll take the couch because he's a gentleman, and a scholar. They crack open a bottle of wine and kind of get to know each other. They really seem to be hitting it off. They have a heart-to-heart. There's another cute moment, they're making a bed together. She's overly cautious and he's overly friendly. To me, that seems like a very genuine and very real acting right there, because if I was put in that situation, that's exactly how I personally would act. Because it's not their fault that they got double booked. She says that she used one app, he used another, and that's where the confusion comes into play. After they go to bed, she wakes up to her bedroom door open, and Keith's having this nightmare. He's like grunting and kind of like whimpering on the couch. And I like when she wakes him up because he freaks the fuck out on her.
The fuck?
I'm so sorry.
What are you doing?
As Tess leaves for her interview, we see what the neighborhood looks like in daylight and just how shitty it is. It kind of looks like Don't Breathe, which takes place in Detroit, Michigan, as well as this. Her interview went well with the director. She tells her that she's staying in Brightmoor, and the director's like, No! She's like, it's a bad neighborhood, you gotta get out of there, you can't be staying there. She gets back to the house, and this homeless guy's chasing her. You don't see his face, you only see his bottom half. I took it as he's trying to warn her, but she was scared shitless because there's a homeless guy chasing her. She goes to find some TP, gets locked in the basement. She finds a rope, pulls on it, activates like a secret trap door. So naturally your curiosity kicks in and you go and investigate. But she goes alone. You don't do that.
Big no-no!
She finds one of these rooms in a tunnel. It's got this shitty ass, dingy, dirty mattress with a camera and a bloody handprint on the wall. Right there, I'm like, nope, I'm out. Get the fuck out of there. Keith shows up and she tells him about the room, and old dipshit goes down there by himself. Keith isn't responding to her, so she goes to find him, only to discover that it goes deeper than expected.
That's what she said.
She finds another door and hears Keith calling out for help. She finds him crawling towards her, and he tells her that someone else is down there and that she bit him. And with one of the best jump scares I've seen in a very long time, this big ass brute of a naked woman comes out of the darkness, grabs his head, and starts bashing it repeatedly. I was actually holding my breath watching that because it fucked me up, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a lot for a movie to really get to me, like clenched up real tight, and I was like, damn. The movie then shifts its attention to AJ, and he's living his best life. Literally living the dream. He gets a call from the producer of the show that he just started. She basically said that there's going to be an investigation of sexual misconduct, quote unquote. He did the bad thing that you're not ever supposed to do to a woman. I love this part though because his acting in it just felt really real. Like the way he pulls over and just like stares at the ocean. He's just trying to process like the highest high to the lowest low real fucking quick. That just shows Justin Long's like range and depth. I love him in horror movies. Everybody starts dropping him left and right, and you can just feel the pain that he's going through. Turns out that he owns a couple properties in Michigan, and that's where he comes into play. Detroit, Michigan, here we come. AJ meets up with his buddy at a bar, and he gets lit. We find out that AJ is actually a piece of shit. He opens up to his buddy and lays everything out.
Oh, you motherfucker!
Everything that I was just feeling for him, nah, fuck that dude. But he calls Megan, the girl that he apparently did the bad thing to, and apologizes, then wakes up to puking his guts out. He still wants to like figure out who the last tenants were because all their luggage is still there. So he heads to the basement. And I love his pep talk as he arms up because he hears a noise and he's got like a little fucking kitchen knife, like literally a little tiny knife.
I'm a fucking man, I'll fuck you up.
As he heads to the basement, he finds the rope and goes down that tunnel. Since he's going broke, all he cares about is trying to sell his properties. Since he found the tunnel, he's all about like measuring the square footage and everything so he can kind of get more cheddar. He finds the second part of the tunnel where Tess and Keith went missing, and this part actually made me hold my breath. I was like, something is about to pop off. And I love the POV shot of him holding the flashlight and the knife. The woman/creature shows up in a really cool scene where like the flashlight is on her and off her. She's getting closer and closer. She's chasing AJ and he takes off, but he falls down this giant hill and lands in a cage where Tess is. The movie jumps back in time to when Detroit was hustling and bustling. And here's where we meet Frank. He acts like he's a DWP worker and he goes into his lady's house and purposely unlocks her bathroom window so he can break in later. It goes back to AJ and Tess in the cage. This woman shows up with a giant baby bottle and she's trying to feed it to him. And Tess is telling him like, just drink it, just drink it. He's like, nah, fuck that noise. So she drinks it, and then she gets pissed, comes inside the cage, grabs him, and takes him to her bedroom so she can breastfeed him. And this scene just made me feel very uncomfortable. She left the cage open, so Tess escapes. She climbs out the window, and that homeless man from earlier saves her. He tells her she's got to get away from this place because that woman comes out at night. He also warns her that she's not the worst thing in that house. Da da da! AJ ends up taking off, and he finds another door where he finds Frank half dead. And it's a fucking shit heap in there. Bottles everywhere, garbage, trash everywhere. He's like literally half dead. Tess finds the cops, and these useless fuck stains of cops, one of the worst cops I've ever seen in a horror movie, besides Halloween 5. She goes to tell them, hey, I've been abducted, and they're like, nah, give me your ID. What? These cops suck in this movie. That was the only bad thing that I had to say negative about it, but it also adds that tension, and you gotta have tension in a horror movie. AJ watches some VHS tapes, and he sees what Frank did. He calls him out, and Frank ends up shooting himself in the head. Bye-bye. The woman comes charging out of the house, and Tess rams her with her vehicle and pins her to the house. Ouch. Tess goes to find AJ, but AJ shoots her. Nice move, jackass. They see that the woman isn't pinned anymore. They go to a homeless man for safety. He tells him Frank used to take women there and make babies with their babies, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And that's where we get this woman creature thing. The woman shows up though and rips the homeless guy's arm clean off and beats him to death with it. AJ, for a split second, I thought was going to sacrifice himself to save Tess, but no, it just turns out he's more like a bigger piece of shit than I thought. He grabs her by the hair and like throws her off the fucking tower. The woman jumps like fucking Spider-Man trying to save MJ. As AJ tries to rescue Tess, Mama Bear is pissed. And here we have the VHS rewind moment.
Clear.
She gouges his eyes out and then splits his fucking melon in two. Good. Fuck that dude in this movie. He sucks. The movie comes to an end with Tess shooting the woman in the face. Wow! What a fucking movie, dude. Toe tag score, 4.5 out of 5. Pros to this movie, the acting. It just felt so raw and real. And the situation, like this whole movie just felt really realistic besides obviously the creature woman part. I don't know, dude. Like I'm so pissed at myself for sleeping on this movie. It came out a couple years ago. The hype about it was everywhere. And rightfully so, dude. This movie kicks major ass. Couple cons, the cops in this movie were the dumbest part of this whole movie. Clearly, just look at Tess. She's disheveled. She's just a mess. And the cops like, no, you weren't abducted. And I also did not like the fact that Justin Long did not redeem himself and that he is a piece of shit. I thought he was a good dude. He genuinely made me believe that he was a good guy who might have did something bad. Nope, it just gets worse and fucking worse and fucking worse. As always, I'm Chuck. Don't forget to like, subscribe until then.